Today we are going to discuss packages in Java. What is a package? We have been using some predefined packages in our Java programs till now. For example, we have used a package like this. We have imported a package like import java.util package. From this we have used some scanner class. If you remember, in our programs to read input from the keyboard, we have been creating an object for a class called scanner class. Where is the scanner class located? In a package called util package. So what is this package actually? First, packages are of two types. One is predefined packages, second one is user defined packages. We need not discuss about this predefined package because they are already defined, and when you want to use that package in your program, just you have to write a statement like this: import java dot the package name dot star. I already told you what is the meaning of this dot star, but once again I'll repeat that anyhow. But before going into that import statement, let me tell you about package first. What is a package and what is it going to do? So during the introduction of this Java programming, I told you about a hierarchy. Code is present in methods. That means we write code inside methods. And again, methods in turn are contained inside classes. And classes in turn are contained inside packages. In Java, in Java programming, programs are written by following this hierarchy. So any program that you write in any language, we call the lines of statements that you write in that program as code. But how do you write code in Java? You place them, you put the code inside the methods, right? And methods are put inside classes, and classes in turn are put inside something called packages. So at the top of the hierarchy, you have packages. Packages contain classes. Classes contain methods, and methods contain code. So you know about code being put inside methods and methods put inside classes till now. But classes in turn will be put inside something called packages. So in our example program that I mentioned earlier, we were using scanner class, which is a predefined class. Just like you have user defined classes and user defined methods, you'll also have predefined classes and method. So what is this predefined class scanner containing? It contains some methods which will start with the word next, using which you can read data from the keyboard, input from the keyboard. So how to read the input from the keyboard? By using some methods. So what are those methods? You have different methods for different types of values that you want to read from the keyboard. To read an integer value, you have a nextInt method. To read a double value, you have a next double. To read a byte value, you have next byte. To read a boolean value, you have a next boolean method. And to read a string, you have next line method. So all these methods are predefined methods, and because in Java the condition is that code is put inside definitely in a method and methods are put inside class, so even these predefined methods will also be inside classes. So where are all these methods defined? Next int, next double, next byte, next line, all these, they are defined in a predefined class called scanner. Okay, then this scanner, again, because a class is contained within packages as per our rule that we discussed in this point, so the scanner class also will be put inside some package. So what is that package? Java.util package. The package name is java.util, right? So now you have already this predefined packages, available in Java. They come along with the JDK that you install on your system. When you install the JDK software on your computer, so that software will provide you these packages: java.util, java.lang, java.io, java.awt. We'll see many other packages later in the later part of this Java programming course. But till now we have been using only one package called java.util package. So how to import that package means using a keyword called import, give a space, and followed by that use the package name java.util. The package name is java.util, and after that you give a dot symbol and write a star, which indicates that all the classes that are defined in this util package will be automatically imported into your current Java program. Then you can create objects for those classes, and you can use that object to call those methods defined in those classes. If you want to import only a specific class, say now from util package, I don't want to import all the methods, all the classes that are there. There are many classes in util package, but we were using only one class, that is scanner class. So if you want to use only scanner class, instead of writing star there, you can directly mention the name of the class scanner. Then only the scanner class will be imported into your program from util package. So if you instead of writing the scanner, if I write star like this, it indicates that all the classes that are part of that your java.util package will be imported into your program. A package will not contain only one class, it will contain many classes. So out of this java.util package classes, we have used only one class till now, scanner. There is a class called random class, there is a class called date class, right? So random class contains some methods to generate random numbers, random values. Date class contains some constructors using which you can create a date object representing the current time and date and all. So in that way you have many classes defined in this util package, but out of them you have used only scanner class, right? So why we need to put these classes inside packages? Can't we write programs in Java without using packages? We need a package because to avoid something called namespace collision. Namespace collision. So what is this namespace collision? So what is this namespace collision? Package is used to avoid namespace collision. So till now we have been writing programs, right? So all our programs we have saved in a directory called Java S in D drive in my computer. This is the folder where we were saving all the programs. Then when you are saving these multiple programs, these many programs like this in this folder, there is a chance that in one or more programs you may want to create a class with same name. In my program, say in this cars program, say for example, I have a class called A, capital letter a class with name capital letter A, right? Then in another class, say demo, also I want to define a class with the same name, class A. Because they are in the same directory, when you compile your program, what will happen? Dot class file will be generated for each and every class, not for the entire program. For example, in this fact.java file, how many classes are defined? Factorial, and another one is fact. When you compile this program, the dot class file will be generated not just for fact, it will also be generated for this factorial class also. So that's why you will be finding fact.class as well as factorial.class. These two .class files are generated only because of compiling this one single .java file fact, right? So that means what? In your program, if you have multiple classes, when you compile that program, dot class file will not be generated only for only not only one file will be generated for this dot java file. Instead, multiple files will be generated depending on how many classes are there in your program. So in my program I defined two classes, one is factorial, the other one is fact. So dot class file will be generated for each of these class. One is for fact, so you'll get a fact dot class file, and for this class factorial you'll also get factorial dot class file. So that's the reason you are able to see one class file is fact dot class here, the other one is factorial dot class file. So in that way, in my program fact I have this fact class and factorial class. In say some other program also, which is also in the same directory java.s, if I create a program there also, if I try to create either a class called fact or factorial, and when I compile that program, the dot class file will be generated here in the same directory, right? Then as per the directory structure, will your folder allow you to create two or more files with same name and same type? It will not allow you. If you try to create a new file in the same folder with the same name, then an alert window will appear, will pop up on your screen asking you, there is an already a file with the same name so and so, would you like to replace it or create a new one with a different name? If you click on yes, then the old one will be replaced with the new one. If you click on no, then it will ask you to save that file with a different name, right? Because in a single folder you cannot have multiple files or folders with same name, right? It is just like in a class there are students, multiple students with same name, even their first name and last name, everything is same. Then how will you distinguish between these two students? They'll have a unique identification, they'll have a roll number. So with that roll number you can identify them, because roll numbers are unique. One roll number will be given only for one person, it cannot be given for more than one person. So you can identify that student with a roll number, which is a unique identity, but name will not be a unique identity. So similarly, in your directory structure on your system, on any platform, whether it is Windows or Linux or any other Macintosh operating system or anything, what you can do is you cannot create multiple files or folders in a single directory in the same folder with same name. In the same way, Java also will not allow you to create multiple classes with same name in the same directory, right? Because of the problem namespace collision. So your name of the class must be unique. So when you want to implement this concept, you cannot create uh, multiple, but you don't want to compromise with giving same name to the class in your program, because their purpose will be given as the name of the class. So I cannot save it with a different name, I want to save it with the same name. So then comes into picture, instead of saving these programs in the same folder, we can create multiple different folders and put them in different folders, then there will not be a conflict. So this is how you can uh, solve the namespace collision problem. So what is namespace collision? In a single folder where you store your programs, there cannot be multiple files with same name. And because when you compile your Java program, dot class file will be generated for all the classes that you define in that program, that is in the .java file. A separate dot class file will be created. So in that way, when you create multiple .java files, in those multiple .java files you have multiple classes with same name, then there will be a namespace collision when you run the program, when you compile the program. Your compiler will not be able to create the dot class files for those multiple multiple classes. So you'll get a problem there. So you'll have dot class file generated only for one class, the other class it will not be able to save it. So that's the reason why what we do is we'll create a folder and put one file in this folder, and we'll create one more folder and another file we'll put that in that folder. So that will be possible. If I create two folders, folder 1 and folder 2, and if I create in folder 1 say fact.java, and in folder 2 also if I create fact.java, nothing will happen because they are in two different folders. Their path is different and their location is different. But in the same folder you cannot create same fact.java multiple times. So if you try to create it, you will come across a problem called namespace collision. Because of the namespace collision only, your Windows operating system will ask you to whether you want to replace that existing file and create a new file with this name. So the old one will be lost and new one will be available. Or you can, or it will suggest you to create a file with a different name instead of same name. But we don't want to create with a different name because we want to create as per our requirement with the same name. Then the solution is, instead of saving this file in this folder, you save it in a different folder, right? So that is how you can avoid this namespace collision problem. And so what you can understand from this conversation or discussion is, package is nothing but a folder. Literally a package is nothing but a folder. So to create a package in your Java program, what you need to do is you need to create a folder and put that Java file in that folder. Automatically you'll solve the namespace collision problem, right? You got my point? If you want to create multiple files with same name, create them in two different folders instead of creating them in the same folder. So package, what is package going to do is, package is nothing but a folder. So when you want to create multiple programs, multiple classes with the same name, create one class in one folder and another class in another folder and give the same name to the classes, then there will not be any problem. So that is how you can solve the namespace collision. So literally speaking, package is nothing but, in Java, package is nothing but a folder, right? And in that folder you are going to save the classes, the .java files, and when you compile them, you will get the .classes files. But for us, what matters is not the .java file. It matters for what matters for us is .class files, because when you run your Java program, uh, we require .class files where the bytecode is available, right? So .class files are important. Even if you don't put the .java file in that folder, nothing will happen. But you compile the program and generate the .class files and put them in the folder. So you have in the command prompt, I'll show you how to do that, how to compile the package program and generate .class files and put them inside a different folder instead of putting them in the same folder, right? So now I'll show you with an example how to uh, create packages in your Java program and how to compile them and how to run them. Along with that program, we'll also use that four access specifiers, uh, how they differ in when we use packages and inheritance, how the access specifiers give different accessing scope for the user in different programs. That also we'll discuss. So I told you when we were discussing, when I introduced the access specifiers, we'll discuss about these access specifiers later after knowing what is a package. So now it is a time for us to get back to the topic, access specifiers. Now that you understood what is a package, so we can go through that access specifiers also, that is default public, protected and private. Okay, so we'll discuss about access specifiers also with these programs. So let me tell you what are the programs that I'm going to say create now. So how to, before that I'll tell you how to create a package in your program. How to add a class to a package. So the syntax for creating a package in your Java program is use the keyword package followed by space and give the name for the package. Always name of the package shall be given in lowercase letters because it is the naming convention in Java. We follow this naming convention for everything. For packages we follow, for classes we follow, for methods we'll follow. So as per that naming convention, convention means it is not mandatory. It is we follow it. It is not mandatory. It is not a rule. I hope you know the difference between a rule which is mandatory and a convention which is not mandatory. So package names are always given in lowercase letters. Okay, irrespective of how many words you use in that name of the package, you can use only smaller letters. Coming to class names will begin always with a capital letter. And if there are multiple words in the name of the class, each word will begin with a capital letter. So that is a convention followed for naming classes. And for methods, if there is only one word, all the letters will be in lowercase letters. If there are multiple words, first word will be in small letters and the remaining all words will begin with a capital letter. So that is the naming convention for methods. So now that you know the naming conventions for packages, classes and methods, so in the syntax, you have to use a keyword package to create a package followed by space and give a name for the package and end it with a semicolon. And this statement you must write it at the beginning of your program. So where this statement must be written at the beginning, at the top, before you define any class in your program, you have to write this package statement. And after this statement, you create how many classes you want. Automatically, those classes will be put inside that package that you created at the beginning. Right? So this is how you create a package and add classes to your uh, package. So to add the classes to the package, you need not do anything extra in your program. Only thing is write the package statement at the beginning, and below that you create how many classes you want, that many classes. Automatically all those classes will be part of that package. The only thing you need to do extra is when you compile this program and run the program, right? uh, so nothing you will do in the program. So as per following this syntax, let me show you. We are going to create some number of files. We are going to create, I'll tell you, we are going to create two packages called P1 in our example program that I'm going to show you. And first one is P1, second one is P2. Two packages you are going to create. And in these two packages, we are going to create uh, .java files. So these many .java files I'm going to create. Same package.java, derived.java, other package.java, protection.java, protection2.java, demo.java, and demo2.java. So in all these .java files will be either put inside P1 package or P2 package. Some of these will be in P1 package, and some of them will be put inside P2 package. So how to add those classes defined in these Java files into P1 and P2? Just create that package statement at the beginning of the file in that file. So first let me show you same package.java. So this is same package.java. So look at the way how I created the package. So using the syntax, use the keyword package followed by a space and give the name of the package. So the name of the package is P1. So end it with a semicolon. And after this, I created one class called same package. So automatically this class will be part of the package P1. So I'm not defining any main method here. So you cannot run this program. You can only compile it. Because there is no main method, you cannot run the program. So as you know, unless you define a main method in your program, you cannot run that program. Only you can compile it. You can compile this program, but you cannot run it, right? So what I am doing here, I'm creating a constructor. First let me show you all the files, then I will go and see each and every file what is there. Then coming to other package.java, I'm creating a class called other package, and I'm adding that class to which package? P2 package. So this class also has a constructor. Then after that, another class called protection class. So this is put inside package P1. It has some code here. Apart from the constructor, you have some instance variables also. Then let me show you another one. This is protection 2. And where is this protection package created? Protection 2 class created. It is created in package P2. And one more thing, this protection 2 is a subclass, is made a subclass for earlier class called protection class, right? Protection class. And where is that protection class? In P1. It is available in P1. It is not in P2. Protection 2 is in P2. Protection class is in P1. And here also we defined a constructor for this class. And then we are using a class called, we are defining another file called derived.java, where derived is a class which is a subclass for protection, and this derived class is also defined in the same package P1. Protection is the subclass, sorry, protection is defined in P1, and even the subclass derived is also defined in the same package P1. Then you have demo class. This class demo contains the main method. And where is this demo class put? In package P1. Okay. Then another class called, finally the last one, demo2. This class is defined inside package P2, and this also contains the main method. So only two .java files contain the main method. The remaining programs do not contain the main method. So these two Java files, last two files, these two contain main method. The remaining five .java files, they do not contain any main method. So where is same package defined? So same package is defined in package P1. Derived class is also defined in package P1. Other package is defined in package P2. Protection is defined in package P1. Protection 2 is defined in package P2. Demo is defined in package P1 and demo 2 is defined in package P2. So altogether, how many classes you are defining in P1? Same package, derived package, same package, derived class, protection class, and demo class. Totally 4 classes you have defined in package P1, right? And coming to package P2, you have other package class and then protection 2 class and then demo 2 class. So totally you have 3 classes in P2. So P1 contains 4 classes and P2 contains 3 classes, right? So what are the 4 classes defined in P1? Same package, derived, same package, derived, protection and demo. So these are the 3 classes defined in P2 package. So now let us consider which of these classes are having subclasses and where they are. So does same package has any subclass? It does not have any subclass. Let me show you that in the program. So same package is not inheriting its members to any other class. So there is no subclass for the same package. Coming to derived, first we'll see protection. Protection in package P1, it also does not have any uh, subclass as of now. Okay, let me show you derived. But derived is a subclass created for protection. That means protection has a subclass called derived. Right? So protection class has one subclass, but where is that subclass? Is it located in the same package P1 where protection is there, or it is defined in a different package P2? Derived is also defined in the same package. Derived is also defined in same package P1 and it is a subclass for protection. That means in the same package P1, protection is a superclass and derived is a subclass for protection class, right? Then let us see protection 2. Protection 2 extends protection, but where is protection 2 defined? In package P2, and where is protection defined? In package P1. So protection class has also another subclass, but that subclass is not defined in the same package P1 where protection is defined. Instead, it is defined in another package called P2. So that means what? When we discussed about access specifiers concept, we have defined four different combinations. Access specifiers can be used in the same class, subclass in the same package, non-subclass in same package, subclass in different package, and non-subclass in different package. So for protection, derived will be subclass in same package, and protection 2 will be subclass in different package. And coming to same pack, Sam, when you consider protection, same package is not a subclass, right? It is a non subclass but defined in the same package as protection. And coming to other package is also not a subclass for protection, so it is a non subclass in different package. So what are the combinations we have? Okay, so these are the four combinations we have discussed during access specifiers. So when you consider the class called package, protection. So if you consider the class protection, for this protection class, you have a class called derived, right? So which will become subclass in same package, right? So that is this category. It falls into the first category, subclass in same package. So for the same protection class, if you take the two remaining classes in the package, that is same package and demo, they are all non subclasses. So they come under the second category. So what do you mean by same package, different package? Same package means both the class protection and derived, which is a subclass for protection, both of them are in the same package. That is P1 here. Right? In different package means protection is defined in P1 and protection 2 is defined in a different package, that is P2. Right? Similarly, For protection which is in P1, other package and demo2 are non subclasses in different package. So now you must understand, you must have understood already what is the meaning of these four classifications of classes when we use packages and inheritance, right? So subclass in same package, you take any of those classes out of all the classes that we defined, right? Out of all the classes that we defined, all these, totally how many classes are there? 7 classes. So now I am considering protection class. So when you take this protection class out of 7 classes, you will have remaining 6 classes. So how are those 6 classes related to this protection class? And if you take first derived class out of those 6 classes, how is derived related to protection? Derived is a subclass for protection. That is the relationship between protection and derived. And where is that derived class defined? It is also defined in the same package as that of the protection class. That means P1. Both protection and derived are derived in same class, are defined in same class, same package, right? So that is the meaning of subclass in same package. So for whom it is subclass, you consider any class, and for that you see whether there is a subclass or not. If there is a subclass, where it is defined, whether it is defined in the same package or in a different package, right? So now I am taking an example protection class where protection is defined in P1 package, and now I'll consider derived class. So how is derived related to protection? Both protection and derived are defined in the same package P1, and derived is a subclass in the same package. So that's why it will fall in this category, subclass in same package, right? Then uh, again you consider the same protection class, and already out of those 6 classes we have considered derived. Now we'll see same package class. So same package class and even demo class, they both are defined in the same package P1, but they are non subclasses. They don't have any relationship with protection. Protection has only one subclass in the package, that is derived class. Same package and demo class are non subclasses, but they are defined in the same package as that of protection. So all these 3 classes, protection, same package and demo, are all defined in the same package P1, but they don't have any relationship with each other. Neither same package is subclass for protection nor protection is subclass for same package. Similarly, same package is also not subclass for any demo class, or even demo is not even a subclass for same package. So those 3 are individual classes. They are independent to each other. Then the next next classification is again consider the same class protection, which is defined in package P1. Now you consider another class. Out of those 6 classes, we have considered derived, same package and demo, so they will fall into these 2 categories. Now how many classes are remaining? 3 classes are remaining. So we'll take first protection 2. So what is the relationship between protection 2 and protection? Protection 2 is a subclass for protection, but P1 protection is in P1 package, whereas protection 2 is in P2 package. So this will come under subclass in a different package, the third category, subclass in different package for protection class, right? So then, so 4 classes we have considered already out of 6. So the remaining 2 are other package and demo 2. And when you take this other package and demo 2, both are non subclasses. They are not subclass for this protection class, right? And they are not defined in the same package P1. Instead, they are defined in P2. So they fall under which category? Non subclasses in different package. Okay. So now that you have understood this classification of classes in relationship with packages and inheritance uh, into 4 different classifications: subclass in same package, non subclass in different package, subclass in different package, non subclass in different package. So as per this classification, what will happen to public member, private member, protected member and default public? That we already have defined it. So I request you for tomorrow's class, you go through that access specifiers introduction class, where I have given you a classification and whether you can access different types of members uh, in subclass or non-subclass based on its access specifier is whether it is public, private, protected, or default public. So if you go through that one, then in tomorrow's class we'll discuss about that, and then compile these package programs and run the package programs. Okay, because it will take